Today I'm going to show you my top 5 new budget knives that have unbelievable action, and I know that I'm super excited, so I really think that you're going to like these. Hey, how you doing? If this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. My name is Jay. Now go ahead and consider clicking on that subscribe if you're looking for knife reviews that get right to the point. Hey, don't forget to check the description because that's where I'm going to put the links to buy, the prices, and even if there's any coupon codes. Number 5 is kind of an odd name, and I have no idea if you can even pronounce it, but I'll put it up on the screen right now so you can see it's just JTS RTSH, and the knife is the L129. Maybe their goal was to come up with a name without using any vowels. If that's the case, nice work. Now, you know how some budget knives, they get rebranded so many times because, the companies, they're all buying their products from the same OEM. But this is a knife design that I have never seen before. So yeah, I was a little skeptical when I bought it, but you know what? So far, it's totally exceeded all of my expectations. This has all the standard stuff that you would expect from a budget knife nowadays, like D2 blade, ball bearing pivot, and G10 scales. And you know what? It even has, sometimes they mess up on the grind and then they go too far into the sharpening choil at the plunge grind. Yeah, it's even got that. The nested liners, they do give it a very thin overall design because it has a handle thickness of, get this, at just 0.40 inches. Now, this is definitely a full-size knife, so you're looking at about a 3.6 inch flat ground blade. Now, it doesn't have the strongest detent in the world, but I will say I do have to kind of make an effort to fail the deployment. Let's see if I can do it. Yeah, but I can't do that consistently. But the drop shut action, oh, that's pretty darn satisfying. And the centering, take a look at that. Yeah, it's perfect. And there is not even a hint of a blade play. Now, I will tell you, I'm not a fan of this pocket clip. Not at all. I mean, it makes it ride kind of shallow. Plus, it's only one position, so there's no lefty love. All right, number 4 is going to come to us from Bestech. This is the Sledgehammer. How about it, though? What a great name for a knife. And it totally fits. This kind of looks like a sledgehammer, doesn't it? This is the only knife in my collection currently with this type of a tanto blade with a compound grind. To be honest now, this is not the best paper slicer because that edge is kind of, it's kind of thick. I think that this is more of a harder use type of blade, one where you don't have to worry about snapping that tip off. You could even use this because of that compound grind. You could also go ahead and use this to, do some scraping with it. And I kind of wish that they would have sort of embraced the whole hard use role for this and maybe went with washers inside instead of the bearings. But then again, we wouldn't have this good of action. Now, the thumb studs, you can see, yeah, they're pretty tall and they're easy to get at, especially if you have gloves on. Now, the micarta, not the grippiest out there, but I've used worse, so it's not too bad. To me, it kind of looks and even feels like the QSP Penguin in hand. Number 3. Now, speaking of rebranded knives, now on here, the blade, it says War Spear, but it's actually from Citavine, and it's the ST302. And if that name sounds familiar to you, it should, because it's the very same brand that's responsible for this Wharncliffe ST103 and the Drop Point ST102. Both budget knives I just absolutely love. Now, the first thing that I gotta show you about this knife is the action. Watch this. Oh, that is friggin' nuts. Are you kidding me? I mean, that's like the same kind of action that you would get on like a button lock, like this Mordax. And in case you're wondering, there's absolutely no blade play, because that was one of the first things that I checked. I thought, okay, action this good, that pivot has got to be loose. But, that would explain why it's dropping shut so fast. No, it's completely tightened. This knife, yeah, it's a big boy. I mean, you're looking at a really good looking 3.82 inch 14C 28N blade. But it doesn't seem like a large knife, since it only weighs in at about 3.6 ounces. I'm guessing this is meant to be a forward finger choil here. It's kind of small for that, though. I mean, especially for my medium-sized hands. So I kind of wish that maybe that was slightly larger. And the only other gripe that I have about this knife is the pocket clip. I mean, I like that it's deep carry, but again, one position, so no lefty love here either. And really quick, if you're liking the video so far, let me know by just giving it a thumbs up. Number 2, I got from Concept. This is the Fusa. Now, you know me, because most of the time I could care less about like the packaging, but I have to admit, Concept, they do such a nice presentation. First thing that you need to know about this knife is that it's a slip joint double detent lock. So basically that just means, there is no lock. So if you're someone that lives in an area where there's like a restriction on locking blades, this would probably be pretty good for you. There's something about this blade shape. It just really speaks to me. And the micarta that they went ahead and used, it feels pretty nice. And it's got a decent amount of texture for traction. Now, the detent locks, they're not usually known for having their drop shut action. But this one sure does. Yeah, I was really surprised about that. Now, this flipper tab, of course, it has 2 functions. So, yeah, it's going to open the blade, but then it can also help to keep it in the open position, so it doesn't accidentally close and lop off your finger. That's kind of why I don't really carry my Civivi Appalachian Trail too much nowadays, because, there's nothing that you can do, no matter how hard like I squeeze on this. It's not going to prevent or even lessen the chance of the blade closing. But that's why I like it here on the Fusa with that flipper tab, because it really does help. Now, I checked with the pocket clip and it's not magnetic, so that would tell me that it's titanium, which is nice, but it's just, again, one position, so no lefty love with this knife either. And if you plan on buying one of these, okay, I would seriously consider getting it from White Mountain Knives, because they're selling them for like $13 less than everywhere else that I've seen. And on top of that, you can use my coupon code, all lowercase, lefty love, 2 words, and that's going to save you an additional 10%. All right, here it is. Number 1 is going to be from Real Steel. This is the G5 Metamorph. And first, I got to thank my buddy Ed he kind of gave me the heads up about this knife. So, hey man, thank you. This is a Blade HQ exclusive that has, you can see, a flipper tab and a Tanto blade. I used to own the front flipper version, with the aluminum scales, but that one was really tough for me to open it consistently because I couldn't get a good grip. So I'm really thankful for this one with the flipper tab. Now, it still does have the same 14C 28N blade, but now the scales, instead of aluminum, they're G10, and the blade does have, you can see it has a compound grind. This detent, man, they must have it really, really dialed in, because I can't fail the deployment. No. And you can just tell, I mean, just by looking at this knife, that it's going to have really good closing action. And man, oh, does it ever. Now, I know that some might consider this a little big. I mean, it's a 3.5-inch blade, but I really think that this makes a perfect, like, indoor kind of office carry knife. Up on the screen now is a video that I personally picked out for you to go ahead and watch next. And hey, don't forget, click on subscribe. I got to run, so thanks so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you at the next video.